Klyn is a CF superstar. She's our #1 finest fundraiser and an inspiration to us all. Klyn was the former Associate Director for Stratacuity, which was a huge supporter of the Finest campaign, and is a local recruiting branch specializing in permanent placements of discovery, development, and clinical professionals. She is no stranger to networking with others, putting the ask out there, and not taking no for an answer. Klyn has a very engaging personality, and it's been a true privilege to have her participate in Finest, as she embodies the true definition of one of the finest people that I've ever met. I want to congratulate Klyn and also welcome her to speak and say a few words and share her story with you all this evening. So thank you, Jay and Pam. We're going to have a
Hello, thank you. So I have to say, I am honored I was asked to speak tonight. For those of you wondering, yes, I do have cystic fibrosis. I actually am a homozygous 508, and this year I turned 26. 26 is usually a time in our lives when we're so excited. We found the one, we're settling down, we're buying a house, we're having a baby. And then there's me, not quite there yet. But that's okay. Before I begin with this, I need to credit all of my sisters in Fibros for encouraging me with this message. This is not necessarily my voice. This is a voice 30,000 patients strong, that I am just lucky enough that I have the lung function to share with you. So I've lived in California a little over a year now, and I've spent over 180 days of that in the hospital or on IV antibiotics, which has been accessed through this port on the right side of my chest. My lung function has ranged from the lower 40s to currently holding steady at 70%. It was just over 8 weeks ago that I was on oxygen and in a wheelchair attached to my IV pole. But I rebounded, and now with 70% lung capacity, I can lead a somewhat normal life. In fact, most of you tonight would never have guessed that I am so sick. To get a feel for what it is like to breathe with the diminished lung capacity, for those of you who haven't tried this already, grab the straw from your glass and just try to breathe through that while I continue on with this speech. So recently, I was visiting my family, and for reasons I'll never figure out, they decided to live in Dallas, Texas. And we were walking around the Grapevine Food Festival, which is a lot like the Hillcrest Farmers Market, except they had wine, when the aroma from a no doubt mouth-watering concoction hit my lungs, and it started to tickle my throat. I tried to hide coughing in public because, number one, it's disgusting. And number two, everybody seems to think I have the plague. But this one just kind of got me. I could not stop coughing. So I walk over to the side, and the clearing of my throat turns into gasping for air. And a food vendor comes over with this bottle of water, and she hands it to me. And my mom interrupts. She's so cute. My mom interrupts and says, she has cystic fibrosis. The water won't help her right now, but when she's able to breathe again, I'm sure she'll be grateful. And the vendor goes, oh, I know what that is. My cousin's friend had a son who had that. It's kind of like asthma. In the corner of my eye, I watched her grab Purell from her purse and rub her little hands. If I could have spoke, I would have told her it is not like asthma. It is nothing like asthma. I wanted to get up and explain to her what cystic fibrosis really was. I wanted to quote the academic journals and the history of the disease that I've done countless times my entire life. Explain how a genetic disease is not contagious, but yet by the same token of that word, I am strongly advised against hanging out with my sisters in Fibros. I just sat there hacking, let my mom small chat as she does best. And somewhere my gut told me that all the peer-reviewed journals, academic newsletters, scientific-based research would not have helped explain this disease to her. What if I told her what cystic fibrosis was? Not the academic side, not the medical journals, but what it's like to live with the disease. What if I told her that cystic fibrosis is dropping out of college, even though you have a 4.0 GPA, because deep down you think you may not live long enough to ever pay off that student loan debt? What if I mentioned cystic fibrosis is reassuring your sobbing mother that she's not going to have to bury you soon, because that is a speech you have practiced in your head over and over while wandering the halls of the ICU alone attached to your IV pole? What if I told her cystic fibrosis is fearing you're a letdown to your father, who just wanted to succeed with you in sales? What if I told her cystic fibrosis is feeling guilty to the medications that are working for your body? You actually have the chance at hitting the life expectancy, but you've had to say goodbye to more fibros and sisters under the age of 25 than you care to count. And it's listening to them on the phone at 3 a.m. and encouraging them to keep fighting. But deep down, you both know that they are going to take their last breath any minute. What if I told her cystic fibrosis is getting an $88,000 hospital bill, and then the very next day, getting a $20 check in the mail to cash because you volunteered to help in a life-saving clinical trial? That it's feeling like a cockroach and worthless in the eyes of society because you have to take government assistance. And then getting to hear the audacity of everybody talking about how they absolutely hate Mondays. But in reality, you just want to remind them how lucky they are that they get to go to work on a Monday. That it's pushing yourself in gym workouts. And yet everybody stares at you disgusted because you had the audacity to show up at the gym sick and infect other people. The hours of nebulized therapy every day while wearing a vest that violently shakes the mucus out of your lungs. And by the time your food comes, you're so sick of pills you can't muster the energy to eat. It's fear that your cough will wake up your partner in the middle of the night again. Or that you have to stop kissing because that expensive date he just paid for, you're about to throw up. What if I told her this disease was simply death, sprinkled with a sliver of hope, an automatically failed test titled Learning How to Cope? What if I told her cystic fibrosis is filling your lungs, slowly fill with mucus, suffocating you, and not knowing if this is the hospitalization where you have to tell your friends and family that you might not leave through the entrance, that you might leave through the morgue? What if I told her, despite all the hatred, goodbyes, resentment, death, pills, nebulizers, vests, hospitals, insulin, cystic fibrosis-related diabetes, hypothyroidism, procedures, medicine, exhaustion, that if every single one of us put all of our problems into the middle of the room and we got to see what the person sitting next to us had to deal with, I would skip back to pick up CF. I'd pick this disease to have any day. I really would. Because I get to appreciate every breath. I get to enjoy eating twice when my boyfriend can and not gain a pound. I get to sleep 9 hours a day. And thanks to government assistance, I no longer have to worry if I have enough vacation days. Cystic fibrosis is never taking anything for granted because of a deeper understanding of how quickly everything I love can be stripped away. It's joy in my heart, even on the bad days, because those are still the days I get to fill my lungs with fresh air. It's laughing until I cough, and then laughing some more because I'm coughing, so then I want to continue laughing. Cystic fibrosis is understanding true love. Because in the four walls of a hospital room, it doesn't matter if you are young or old or sick or weak, what color your skin is or what gender you love. It's the compassion for another human being who knows what it's like to lie in a hospital bed for weeks at a time, attached to an IV pole and trying to match your breath to it for fun. It's love felt from family and friends on your birthday who have stayed with you until 12 a.m. so you don't feel alone. It's love from your partner who rearranges a small house to fit all of your medical equipment, pills, tubes, IV poles, and not complain once about all the space you just took up. It's love from your mother who just wants to sit with you, eat takeout, and watch bad Lifetime movies. And love from your father who doesn't care that you didn't quite make it in quota world because you're alive in the real world. It's love from the doctors who email you back at 2 a.m. and the nurses who write humorous, "Welcome back, beautiful," notes in your hospital room. And really, it's love from all of you who are sitting here today, who took the time out of your schedule to come out tonight and have a drink. Lastly, this disease has shown me its love from strangers who bring you bottles of water despite the fear that you just gave them the plague. Cystic fibrosis is love. I finished my coughing spell thanked the vendor for the water, hugged my mom, and we walked away. So none of us, you see, this is the beauty of it, none of us get to choose how we die. We can definitely choose how we live. I'm a firm believer in not asking directly, hey, will you donate, will you donate, will you donate, will you donate? Because you can't push a rope. If somebody's not going to donate, they're not going to. And I get that. That is more than fine. But what I am a firm believer in is giving the people the opportunity to donate, because I know for a fact I am alive today only because since the 1950s, the CF Foundation has been raising funds into life-saving medications, which made it through the drug development pipeline just in time for me. So if you by any chance are considering donating, do it because you realize the funds may not have a direct impact tomorrow, but for future generations. If not for the donors in the 1990s, I would not be alive today and well enough to rebound from the medications to even think about speaking with you. Donations add tomorrows for the kids today who think they will never have that chance to graduate college, find love, buy a house, have a baby, or live to see their 26th birthday. So much more than throwing money into a foundation. It's advancing medication to give somebody a life worth living. Thank you.